Okay, we're going to be looking at something called tan curves. So we've looked at the graph of y equals sine x, which goes up to 1 and down to -1. And we see that it repeats after 360 degrees. And then there's the graph of y equals cos x, which again repeats after 360 degrees. And here was my key points again, so 90, 180, 270 for cosine curve at 0, 90, 180, 270 and 360. Okay, today we're going to look at something called the graph of y equals tan x, which has got a completely different shape, and it looks like this. So let's sketch that one out. Now, one crucial difference between the graph of y equals tan x and sine x and cos x. Sine x starts to repeat after 360 degrees, that's sine 1x. Cos 1x starts to repeat after 360 degrees. Now the difference being that the tan curve starts to repeat after 180 degrees. So you can see how it's climbing from the x-axis, and it starts to do that again at 180 degrees, and it starts to do it again at 360. So y equals tan x repeats after 180 degrees. Now remember that if it have, for example, two curves in 360, then that would mean that for y equals a sine bx, b is the number of curves in 360, that would be 2, because we can count 1 and 2 and 360. And likewise for cos x, if we had something like this, so you've got 1, 2, 3 curves in 180, so that would be b would be equal to 6 curves in 360. Okay, now for tan, you don't count the number of curves in 360. For sine and cos, you count how many in 360. So that was 2 in 360. That was 1, 2, 3 in 180, which was 6 in 360. For tan, you count how many curves that you've got in 180. So, for example, let's say we had an example like this. Okay, so let's say that's 0, 90, 180, 270. Now, how do we know we've got a complete curve? Well, if we go back to sine, for example, you've got a complete curve when the thing starts to repeat. And the same for cosine, you've got a complete curve when the thing starts to repeat. Well, if we start here, when does the thing start to repeat? When does it start doing that again? It starts doing it at 90. So that's one curve in 90, so that's two curves in 180, b is equal to 2. So it's not how many curves in 360 now, it's how many curves in 180. How do you know you've got a complete curve? The thing starts to repeat. Okay, so it goes up like that, starts going up like that again at 90 degrees. That's 1 in 90, which is 2 in 180. Okay, so for each of these, it's tan b of x, and we want to find b. B is the number of curves in b is the number of curves in 180. Okay, so how do I know we've got one complete curve when the thing starts to repeat? So there is, starts to repeat once, starts to repeat twice, that's 2 in 90, which is 4 in 180. Okay, starts to repeat once, twice, 3, 4 times, 4 in 180, b is equal to 4. Okay, starts to repeat once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 4 times in 60, how many is that in 180? That's 4 threes, that's 12. Okay, once, twice, 3 times, 4 times and 30. 4 times and 30, how many 30s were 180? That's 6, that'll be 4 times 6, that's B is equal to 24. Okay, so now you're going to have a go at these ones, these 6. So your first move then is to count how many times the curve repeats. So that would be, for example, once and twice, and it's how many curves that you've got in 180 degrees. So have a go at those 6 questions for tomorrow.